Hey Facebook, how you doing? Oh great, I'm dribbling water all over myself now. That's awesome. How you doing? Say hey when you jump on. Oh my gosh, I only just made it up the stairs at our house, right? We got a two-story townhouse, and only just made it up the stairs after legs. I just did quads, and quads are not liking me right now. It's a bit of a effort to get up the stairs. All right. So I want to talk about a bit of a hot topic today. Say hey when you jump on, and let me know what you're up to, and let me know what you think, right? I'm really interested to hear some of the feedback and hear some of the different takes on this, right? Let me have some more water. See if anyone wants to jump on and have a chat. All right, there we go. I'm still dribbling water on myself. All right. So this is quite a hot topic, and you get this question a lot coming up in different, groups and things like that I'm a part of. It comes up quite often around the topic of self-care, right? So it mostly comes up around, people like me, people like you probably. It's very type A personality types where, we're go-getters. We're absolutely driven to do what we want to do and create it and make it happen and work hard for it and never say die, that kind of attitude, right? It's very common that these are the kind of people that tend to burn out, right? And I don't believe in burnout. I do not at all, because I believe that you can go unlimited amounts and unlimited amount of enthusiasm and energy and go when you're working towards your purpose. I don't believe in balance and all that crap. However, when it comes to this, it's a very interesting topic that before, a lot of people come to the realization that there is no such thing as burnout, and that everything is self-care, basically, when it comes to living your life on your terms. You don't need to take a break from it, right? Before people come to that realization, it's very often a topic that is quite, what's the word I'm looking for? That gets talked about a lot, which is basically what is your self-care? What do you do to refuel yourself, to refresh yourself when you've been going, really, really hard and working, ridiculous hours or whatever it is? What do you do for self-care? So this is why, I've put it out here. I'd love to know, what is your self-care? What is the stuff that you've implemented and you've put into your daily routine or weekly or monthly or whatever it is, or even just when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or whatever it is, then what is the kind of stuff that you use as self-care to get yourself back, to get yourself grounded again and get yourself back in focus and feeling fresh, I guess, right? Because here's the thing. Here's what I want to say, which is always about what I want to say, right? So here's what I want to say, is that discipline is my fucking self-care, right? And this is something that a lot of people would not even think about, right? But here's why I say this, because as much as a lot of people will say, oh, I meditate, or I take a bath, or I go for a walk, or I go and play with my kids, or play with my friends, or whatever it is, or, I watch a really good movie, whatever, like all this stuff, right, that we have as self-care, which is usually about, taking a step back and grounding yourself and, coming into like a place of stillness and a bit of, perspective and just a bit of calmness, I guess, right? What actually works for me, and what I believe a lot of people probably really forget and don't even pay attention to, is that, discipline can be your self-care. And this is the reason that I say this, is because I know what it's like when you're a type A go-getter, when you just absolutely want to make everything happen, when you want to create and you want to just be in your zone and be left alone to basically create and do what you need to do. A lot of people forget that, self-discipline is actually a form of self-care. And the reason I say this is because, for me personally, right, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, or when I'm feeling anxious, or when I'm feeling like I need to take a step back and I need to ground myself, or whatever it is, yeah, that's part of it and that's all great. But a lot of it is actually just, sucking it the fuck up and holding yourself to that discipline that got you there in the first place, right? Because you can get to a stage where it's almost like all of the self-care, all of the meditation and the baths and the whatever, and I'm not trying to be, condescending about it at all. But when it can get to a point where all of that stuff is great and it's amazing when it works, but when you're constantly relying on that, it will get to a stage where you're basically just flaking out. You're basically just not being consistent. You're basically just taking yourself out of the equation and going, no, I need to just be lazy now. I just, on a certain level, like I know you're not going to be trying to be lazy as a conscious decision, but it can get to that, right? Because sometimes what it really takes, what self-care really means, is having the discipline to actually just show up and do the work and just go, okay, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling amazing, whatever. I'm having some anxiety. I'm having some sadness. I'm having some emotions come up, whatever it is. I'm having some resistance, some bullshit stuff come up. That's fine. You can have that. But that's weird. I've just got random suggestions to invite people. I don't know. Weird. Anyway, so you can basically, how do I close this? It's distracting. There we go. You can get to a stage, right, where you're not actually doing anything, right? And this is where that self-discipline to actually go, you know what? I don't need to have a bath right now. I don't need to meditate right now. I don't need to sit down and journal for the next 2 hours about what's really going on. What I really need right now is some self-discipline to actually go, no, you know what? Shut the fuck up and do some work. Okay, I don't know what that means, Saif, sorry. But yeah, hey, welcome. So that's what I mean by the self-discipline, right? So it's actually about tuning in and going, you know what? Yeah, I can take some time, I can relax, I can kind of, move on, and I can take some time, take some space to actually work out what I need and journal and whatever it is, that's fine. But really, sometimes what it really takes is just a bit of self-discipline and to just go, you know what? No. I need to remember why I'm doing this. I need to remember that I believe in myself, most importantly, right? Like, do you believe in yourself, and do you believe that what you're doing is actually what you're meant to be doing? In which case, then sometimes it's just about kicking your own ass and saying, you know what, have some discipline to actually go and do the work, right? To actually just ask, well, what is the aligned action that I can take right now? What is something that I can do that feels good to me, that feels right? What is the action that I can take to keep myself consistent, to keep myself moving, rather than getting yourself into a pattern of kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Of laziness, I guess, or just procrastinating and kind of flaking out, right? Because I don't know if you've ever been in this position, but I definitely have, right? Where I've gotten to a stage where I'm like, oh, okay, well, today I really need to ground myself. Today I really just need to spend hours meditating and journaling and just, recenter myself and do a lot of self-care, all the typical, say, self-care type stuff. Hey, Tree. So it can get to that stage where you're basically, you just keep going round and round, when really then the next day kind of fades into that position where you're again just going, oh, I still don't really feel, totally like I'm back to my normal self. Maybe I need another self-care day, and then another one. And then it becomes like a spiral, right? And you've basically just gotten yourself out of consistency, out of what you normally are doing, and out of your routine of what makes you actually happy and what makes you, continue and work hard and all that kind of stuff. And so you've gotten to this stage now where what you needed all along was just a bit of self-discipline to go, well, no, you know what? If I actually had kicked my own ass and done something about this 2 days ago when I decided I needed some time, some self-care or whatever, and I'd actually said, okay, cool. So let's go do a meditation. Let's go do some journaling. But then let's ask myself, what action can I still take today? What can I still do today to keep myself consistent and actually kick your ass in that way? And then the next day, yeah, you can still do more self-care for sure. Do whatever you need, but you're going to be still in that momentum, right? So let me know if this is something that you've experienced, if this is something that you've found yourself in, where, yeah, you get to a stage where you sort of, kind of flake out on yourself and just spiral into a bit of laziness. And what originally started with overwhelm and, oh my God, I just need to rest, I just need to recenter myself, I just need to self-care, all that kind of stuff. If you get to that stage and then you've kind of let it keep going and keep going and keep going until you get to a stage, maybe a day later or 2 days later or whatever it is, or even a week later, where you're like, oh crap, I've completely lost the plot in terms of what I want to do, because I didn't just just continue with something, right? And it doesn't have to be big. It just needs to be something that feels aligned to you, because self-discipline is a form of self-care, because then you get yourself to that stage where even when things aren't feeling good, right? And I've recently had these massive mood swings, right? Where I'm like on a high, on a high, on a high. And then some little thing has happened and I've just felt so susceptible to just crashing hard and just really letting it take hold of me, right? But I have to keep going back to that idea that, you know what, self-discipline is a form of self-care. And that if I can actually just decide, all right, I don't know what you're talking about, Saif. Yeah, anyway. So you can get to that point where you go, well, you know what? I'm going to absolutely just discipline myself to do something, to make something happen. And then I'll take it from there. And then if I need to go and take some time to go have a bath, or I need to go journal, or I need to go meditate, or I need to go for a walk, or whatever it is, fine, go do it. But you're not going to find yourself in a point of just, well, I've just been, completely off and not doing anything for however long now, right? Let me know what you think. If you're on and you're watching, let me know if this resonates with you, if this is something that you found, or if this is maybe just something that you haven't thought about before, about, actually implementing self-discipline as a form of self-care rather than just, the usual kind of take a step back, let yourself, get some perspective, all that kind of stuff. Let me know if you have any questions. All right. Whew. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to move for a while still. I'm sitting here in my bedroom, but yeah, the legs and the quads from this morning's workout are probably going to keep me seated here for a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much what I had to share. I'd love to know your thoughts about what, kind of self-care stuff you do, because for me, Trudy says, loving this, it's something I know, but I needed to hear it. Yeah, we get that a lot, right? And it's, it's something, anytime I jump on and I do a live stream like this, it's something that I've gone through, right? It's something that I continue to go through. And like I said, in the last few days, I've been feeling so just overwhelmed and just letting things that don't actually involve me impact me. And if it wasn't for the fact that I went, no, you know what, this is the time to actually implement that self-discipline to keep going, I wouldn't have kept going, right? And this is what I've done so often in the past where, years ago, before I was consistent with everything that I do and with all my social media and everything like that, I would basically just let it get the best of me, and I would, flake out for days at a time, and then I'd feel like I have to restart. I'd feel like I have to, every time I jump on a live stream, I have to explain where I've been or something like that. And it's just annoying. It's just annoying, right? Victoria says, yes, that's a really interesting perspective. I think in the end, self-discipline will help us feel better in various areas of our life. And so, like you said, it's a form of self-care. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because at the end of the day, it is something that is going to make you feel better for being you, right? Because you're not going to be proud of yourself. You're not going to be happy with yourself. You're not going to be thrilled with what you're doing if you just keep letting, letting things get to you to the point where you just basically back off and stop being true to yourself because you just haven't been a little bit disciplined about it. And the people who say, oh, you got to, how can you be, you got to take a step back, stop being so hard on yourself, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get that. Don't be hard on yourself. That's not the point. But the point is to kick your own ass, because we are human. I'm human as fuck, right? I have resistance. I have bullshit that comes up that tries to stop me from doing stuff. And that's just the nature of being a human, right? We have emotions, we have feelings, we have stuff that comes up. But if you're always just so tuned in to just, every little thing that's going on within you and being like, oh, now I need to do this. Now I need to take a step back with this because blah, blah, blah. And you're letting that become an excuse for actually not doing the work and not staying consistent, then you are actually sabotaging. You are actually sabotaging what you want to create and what matters most to you, right? And sometimes it's just a matter of saying, you know what, that's enough. I can do self-care. I can do all of that stuff. That's absolutely fine. But what really matters is the self-care of honoring yourself. There we go. That's a good one. I'm gonna like caption that or something. The self-care discipline, self-discipline as self-care is honoring yourself and honoring what you are worth and what you are born to create and what you are born to create in this lifetime, right? Because if you're not going to be self-disciplined about it, there's going to come a point where you're just not going to do the work, where you're just going to not let it, basically, you're just going to, yeah, absolutely flake out. Trudy says, letting other people's problems affect me. It's a bad habit. Yeah. For me personally, I haven't let other people's problems affect me for a long time. But being a very, like, I know I come across very blunt and very, whatever, as on live streams and everything. And this is what a lot of people get confused with when they actually meet me. I'm ridiculously, what's the word, emphatic or empathetic, I don't know which one it is, where I love connection, right? My big thing in life is to connect with people and to draw that connection out to help them to create their lifestyle by design, right? And so that connection means so much to me. So when I feel rejected, when that connection feels like someone's severed it, I let that often get the better of me, right? And this is why the self-discipline really comes into it, to be like, okay, no, you can practice some detachment, you can practice some grounding, you can practice some of that, but you know what? Don't let other people's, whatever's going on in their life, whatever reason that they have to reject you or whatever, that's their shit. Let them deal with it. And you just got to keep going, because at the end of the day, if you don't keep doing what is working for you and what your soul knows you need to do, you're shortchanging the people that actually need that connection from you, that actually are going to have their lives changed because of you, right? And that's a big thing. That's what we're here for. If we can't improve humanity, if we can't improve the lives of each other in some little way, or big way, as I happen to, have my goals set, then what's the point, really? What's the point? So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. Thank you so much to everyone for commenting and for, letting me know. I'm glad that, that's kind of given you guys a different perspective and everything. If you're watching this on the replay later, feel free to pop your comments in below. I do always read them afterwards. And I think I might have to get rid of the random comments that made no sense, because that just confuses me. But yeah, any questions, anything you wanted to ask, anything that I can help with before I go today, because again, I'm going to struggle to get up anyway. So let me know if you have any questions, anything you wanted me to run through. Yeah, I'll sit here for a moment and have a drink. All right. But yeah, in terms of, like, I guess the catch up on what's happening with me the last few days and everything like that, that's it. We're getting ready to go completely location free, as you've probably seen in my other live streams. So just about 4 months now until we leave, one-way ticket, see where that takes us, my husband and I. So that's really exciting. And that's, that's why I guess I am so big on this self-discipline thing, and on actually holding myself accountable, as well as taking care of myself, but actually having my discipline be the part that I'm taking care of myself, because I've created this lifestyle, using the 90% automated online system, right? And so that requires discipline. It's 90% automated, but it requires my effort and my time as well to actually do my 10% and make it work, right? And so that's the same with anything. You can have it be as easy as you want, and you can create the lifestyle of your dreams, absolutely. And you can have it all, absolutely. But if you're not prepared to actually hold yourself accountable, it's going to be hard to convince anyone else to do so, right? So that's what's going on with me. All right, I don't think there's any questions coming up, unless it's going to come up later, which it sometimes does. But in that case, I'll just answer them later. I'll post a comment or something like that. Cool. All right, I'm going to attempt to get up, to get into this shower. Wish me luck. And I will see you guys later. Have an amazing day, whatever you're up to for the rest of the day. And remember to live life on purpose. Bye.